I think we have.
Okay, copy.
So a dramatic start in the entry box, and the French already with a penalty. Frank Camas, a canny operator who's pretty much been there and done it. Got the T-shirt across the sailing world. His duel with Ben Ainslie today is going to be a fascinating feature.
Spinning head to wind, and head to wind is way up here. He's got to go, so he's technically still on port tack. Ainslie's on starboard tack. He obviously gets out of the way to avoid. No reason to smash the boats up, and by the way, that wouldn't be good for anybody. And sure enough, Groupama has a penalty right out of the blocks.
Okay, nice slow jibe here, guys.
So let's see if we can have a quick word with Richard Slater, the chief umpire. Can you clarify the ruling for us, Richard?
Sure. France entered correctly, but then put themselves into a port starboard situation with GBR, and Rule 10, penalty, France.
There we go then, advantage Great Britain.
So here's this very interesting, this is the phenomena of modern America's Cup. So the gun is gone, but Groupama has to get 2 boat lengths behind Ben Ainslie right now. So Ben Ainslie's in no hurry whatsoever. He's going to start on his foils and ripping.
Well, they know they just got to slow down and back off.
So Ainslie wants to get him in a situation where they get slow while he's fast. So he's trying to figure out a way to maximize his boat speed at the same time that they are absolutely at a minimum boat speed. There he goes.
Here comes Ben Ainslie at Land Rover BAR, right at the tail of the French and hammering his way past them. Frank Camas recognizing that he has to put the brakes on.
He gets
It'll
up
be against every competitive bone in his body.
But he did it well. Frank Camas did that very well. He actually kind of waited. He had a nice building angle. He got the boat out of the water, almost 2 or so boat lengths behind GBR. So Ainslie tried to create that differentiation between the boat speeds, and Frank Camas actually fended it off quite well. That's as good as it could have been. Almost 30 knots here on this reach, and 6 knots of boat speed, and 6 knots of wind speed.
Righties here.
Round mark 1, downwind, Land Rover BAR in front, good pace, setting a good pace, 24, 25 knots. The French, though, not too far behind, and we have a contest. It will really have stung the British on Monday to lose to a nation, of course, with whom they have such a long and combative maritime history.
We should lead out now.
Always an extra bit of niggle. Anglo-French battles.
I will let you talk that one through. I'm gonna take a pass on that one, if you don't mind. Here's where they both struggled in race number 1's, is staying on the foils. It's where the other boats, the successful boats in each of the 3 races today, have done a better job of staying on their foils during the maneuvers. Sure enough, Groupama drops that leeward hull down again. Again, that ability to keep the hulls out of the water. Ainslie is up on his foils and going a little bit of a game here on that jibe. You notice on Ainslie's boat, they're not even trying. Usually, all these grinders very quickly run up to that side of the boat. They're not even trying right now. They're not really worried about stability, about righting moment. They're taking their time right now. They're trying to gain a little bit of power in the hydraulic systems and just keep the thing up on the foils.
Take the weight up, boys.
There he goes. Now he finally says, take the weight up. French are hanging in there right now, though, aren't they?
No doubt. We've seen some excellent boat speed from them over the first few days here in Bermuda. That has really not been an issue for them.
Okay,
British preparing to jibe.
Again, let's watch the stability and their ability to fly through this jibe.
Rudders have gone. Rudders wet then. Okay. Rudders. Yeah, big line coming. 2, 1.
not perfect. Rudders are gone. So let's go down to Joey Newton. Joey, when Ben says rudders are gone in the middle of the jibe, what do you think he's talking about?
Well, he's talking about can the rudders stalling. So we know the rudders have little elevators on the bottom, and they produce lift that keeps the boats in the air. And just like an airplane, you can't take, when you're going too slow, the wing will stall. He's talking about his rudder elevators stalling, and you would have seen the boat crash back down when that happened.
He's coming high.
So, Ali, I think we're seeing two teams struggling to foil in this light condition, correct? I mean,
that would appear that way.
Okay, so that's why I can see a really close race right now. I mean, it's two teams that have similar symptoms. Here's Groupama Team France getting up on their foils, maybe even a little before. The British are going to have to pop that thing out of the water soon, or they're going to be in trouble. Look at the speed difference between the two boats right now.
Yeah, the French really picking up at this point and beginning to edge away to try to perhaps get around the outside.
Hang on.
And they're going to do just that right here, right now.
Will be a H2 exit this, I think.
What do you want to do?
Just want to jibe.
You want to jibe now? Yeah. Okay, jibe.
And they're jibing early. They're jibing likely before they get to the lay line to the gate. This will be a crucial time in the race, quite possibly. Again, both boats in the water, displacement mode, we call it. Both hulls in the water right now, both just trying their hardest to accelerate. Big difference between these two boats and what we've seen on some of the other boats here today.
Copy.
He's coming into pressure.
Okay, let's go wing on here. Let's get a bit of pressure coming on. Just pump it a bit. Good. Okay,
So
taking the depth now.
Cruise, chasing the wind.
Yeah.
And
Okay, this is boat on boat now, Ben.
you can hear the
Your
communication
choice
on
on
board
modes.
Yeah,
Land
copy.
Rover BAR. They are keeping a very close eye,
down
as
here
you
now.
have to when you are locked in combat this tight with each other. They're recognizing the kind of speed that the French are finding.
Wind speed is still, 7.5 knots out there. So we've seen lighter winds.
Working for it.
Yeah, a bit more pressure coming on, mate.
A bit more of an old school displacement sailing, kind of flying that big hull
He
to
jibes.
weather.
I want
And
to try and soak
the French
the
are
left hand.
figuring out how to fly at least one hull right now. The Brits are struggling to fly even one, never mind get up on the foils. A bit of a grass growing exercise out here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he's
Groupama
going to commit to that left
is
turn,
on
Ben.
starboard,
Just get onto his hammer
but
here.
barely moving. They're going
This nice stuff.
5.2 knots right now.
Where are
Jibing
they
again.
headed?
They're jibing 2 times. They're just trying to drive directly in front of Ainsley and lead him around this mark. Force Ainsley to either follow him around, which likely he will, because another jibe right now would be brutally painful, or follow him. So
Yeah, just looking for a
race starts again.
good VMG. We might roll into attack here if we can't live.
Very tight to the gate. Both crews
Attacking it. Yeah,
and looking to pick up a little bit of boat speed at this point, but it's looking like they're all stacked up in the supermarket queue just at the moment.
Yeah, but a good move by Ainsley. You know what? They were going to struggle to build speed on that other tack anyway, so why not just tack and get a tack out of the way and struggle to build speed on the other one? So that was actually a good call by Giles Scott and Ainsley there.
And now the opportunity to split the course. Land Rover BAR heading off in one direction and the French in another.
This way. Let's get into some good numbers
Yeah,
here.
just keep the chat down. Go cons off, Nick.
Well, the change of tack really worked for the Americans in that last race against the Japanese, who will
Take some weight up.
benefit from the wind shift this time around.
1 or 2 guys up.
They were on foils earlier in the race. Let's see. It's almost like whoever can get up on the foils first wins. Both of them are displaced. Both of them are sailing old school multi-hull style, just flying one hull and keeping the other in the water. Can one of them pop?
More clues coming.
Boundary is 50 away, Ben.
Okay, here we go. Come on, try and get this board out, CJ.
I think this is going to be close when these guys come back together again. There we go. Out
Okay,
she
we're going to have a
goes.
close cross. Let's keep working that height, please.
Yeah, coming up now.
They're out and finally flying, but that's the good news. The bad news is they only have that much more room to the end of the boundary there, so they're going to have to tack here shortly and start the whole process all over again. And that's the frustrating part of these narrow courses. You finally get it going, and whoop, time to do a maneuver.
And the foiling tack in light wind, very, very tough to pull off.
It's going to be close, though, a close cross. Let's see if they can keep the foiling going.
Happy weight.
Yep.
Just not quite enough wind, is there, to help them pop back up immediately.
They kept the weather foil out of the water effectively, though, so at least they displaced tact. It looks like Kamaz has a little bit of pressure on the other side of the race course right now, but this is going to be a reasonably tight cross.
Just keep an eye on those BMGs, lads.
Okay, yeah, just keeping it high here for a minute.
So the British and the French bearing down on each other. There is nothing between them at this point.
Yeah, one more, Matt.
The wind speed is not as they would like it, but the contest is just as we would like it.
Yeah, close. That's a massive bonus, and that patient speed build, Joey Newton out in the water, that patient speed build, not doing radical things to try to get the boat out of the water, but letting it come out of the water if it wants to. Is that fair to say?
We may just make ley line.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think Frank did a really nice job on this whole starboard of not getting baited into bearing away or investing too much to get on the foil. He just waited till he had enough breeze. It may have looked like VAR were gaining, but at the right moment he popped into the foils, and now he's ripping over towards that left side.
Both boats have been on the foils towards the left side. Is there any chance there's more pressure on that side of the course now, or is it still just pretty fluky side to side?
I think it's generally increasing as we come up the course here. So sort of halfway up this beat, the breeze has started increasing. I think we'll see both these boats foiling more as they get in towards this top mark.
And the key here, Ali, is whether either of them can just do one more tack and in. Again, we've seen the horror shows of trying to tack these boats in this light of breeze, and can one of them minimize the maneuver, a maneuver, more than the other? I think that's smart. Just doing that kind of conventional catamaran tack, popping that weather hull out of the water as quick as you can, and then just building speed as speed comes. Not overdoing it.
Yeah, let's hold for late here, please. Talk to Ed about his weight.
Yeah, take the weight. How are we looking on him?
They're trying.
Can you keep this board out, please?
We are about at the minute.
It's getting a bit lighter here.
A bit more pressure coming on the way.
Quite a disparity in the amount of information coming from one boat to the other. The Brits talking an awful lot, the French not so much.
Can you see him yet? No? Bow to bow.
I got him here now.
Okay.
Bow to bow, Ainsley's on starboard tack. If the French could start foiling, they could accelerate over the top. If they can't, they're going to have to dip behind them. They are the giveaway boat.
3, 2, 1. Go.
They were crossing ahead and still decided to tack. Very interesting. I don't think they were laying into that gate. Can they accelerate quick enough to stay ahead? This is a risky move by Kamaz.
We should roll around him here. What to left?
Another pass.
Okay, all good.
Land Rover BAR happy with their tactics at this point as they head into the gate and look to keep their boat speed high as they round it.
Okay, he's committing slow.
Yeah, do you think we can get going here?
Boundary is coming 40 seconds away.
Okay, here we go.
Using the boundary for the jibe here, Ben.
Yeah.
It'll be
Boost again.
All about getting on the foils right now. First one on wins at this stage, and these guys are on.
Going hard.
Different picture,
10,
isn't
not
it?
quite in the zone yet.
13, 14
Not quite.
knots.
Jiving.
Here we go. This is that key moment The French look like they're across. Remember, they popped up on the foils right about now. They're going similar speeds, but it does look like they're going to cross. The key, though, is are they going to lay this gate? And I don't think they were. I think that's why Frank Camas thought about tacking right here. I don't know, would have been close. Could he have made it around that mark? Button hooked around that mark and took off instead. He does a tacking maneuver, gets super slow. And of course, we saw what happened. Then Rover BAR goes shooting right around the bow. A little luff by Groupama here at this stage. They do a little head to win, boom. But clearly Ainsley and you heard Giles Scott, they were looking for it, and it didn't fluster them, not even a bit.
In that scenario, Ken, kind of goes without saying that the British were ready for that luff move. They were ready to try to be put off course.
They were ready for the whole thing, but here we go again. One boat up on the foils, the other boat not, and we're going to see Frank go around again. Holy smokes.
Change of lead, potentially. The French making ground.
23 knots versus 15 right now. Have they gotten around the front of them? That's the key. And there it is. We had a little frozen screen there for a second, and we were talking about it. Whoever got up on the foils first wins, especially coming out of maneuvers, and Groupama got up on the foils first and zipped right around in front. But there's another drive to go. Here we go again. The Brits don't have a choice here. They're going to have to, they might have 2 more jibes to go. They may not be able to make this gate in one. Here we go.
Well, they're taking it on, but you just get the impression that given the line that they're on, they probably need one more maneuver to make that 4th gate.
This is the key. This is a key time right now. If they can accelerate faster than Groupama, they could do the same exact thing again and loop around their bow.
So we understand that the course has been shifted one last time as well, and that they will finish at the end of gate 5. So not a whole lot of time for either to take a commanding grip on this race. Let's check in with Joey Newton out on the water for us. Joey, how do you see this one shaking out from here?
Take this breeze low.
Oh, really, Ali, it's anyone's. We've just seen both these boats seem to be struggling with their foil setup in this much breeze, and the thing is they're struggling as much as each other. So I think whoever gets the last maneuver down paddle will probably be the winner.
Hope he has one.
I agree.
Some pressure, CJ.
2 fast boats when they're up foiling. It's just getting up foiling. Here we go. Let's try it again.
The British are happy with
Nailed it.
Yeah, that was very smooth.
Absolutely nailed it. What's different? You know, that's the interesting part. What did they do different? And that's what they have to learn from this race. They got to take something out of these races, and they just nailed that one.
They're doing their level best to close this gap here as they head for gate 4, the leeward gate. Still the French with the lead. They're picking up speed now as well. A little bit of extra wind down in this lower part of the course potentially.
Now here's where Slingsby in that last race took the chance and did that split at the last minute, but the way these guys are jibing, I'm not sure they can take that risk.
No early tack. It looks like it's going straight. Okay, early tack.
And they do just exactly that. They don't roll into a jibe. They just do a nice, easy rounding. And they'll try their luck at attack here while they're going fast.
Yeah, wait up, guys.
The last leg. Let's just remind you all of the fact that the French really need this win. They are locked at the bottom of the table currently with the Swedes on just 2 points. The British have 4, but only 2 race wins here in Bermuda. This is a critical point for both of these crews.
It's still equal. Okay, please coming back here.
I don't think that's right, that's CJ.
One more race win potentially, Ken. I mean, they might have enough points as it is for Land Rover BAR, but they won't feel comfortable because the other results are so unpredictable, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly, and especially with the light air kind of becoming more the norm around here in Bermuda for the next several weeks. These guys aren't here to participate, they're here to win, and they're going to have to figure out this maneuver instability, inability to foil in this lighter condition, because they're going to see more of it.
Take 1 exit.
Going on. That's good. Nice. Okay, wait up when you can, guys.
So this race firmly in the balance still. It's going to be a real fight to the death, but they are bearing down on the finish line. The French just with the edge at the moment, but it is tight.
They're forcing a split. BAR is forcing a split here. They didn't go to lay line, trying to tempt the French to tack on them in this situation. The French may do the smart thing, in my opinion anyway, and that is to go all the way to the lay line. Now they're taking a chance with the wind, but they're eliminating one key maneuver of which they're all struggling with. And that's one more tack.
Ouais.
20 secondes. Un peu de rappel, on n'avance pas.
Working high, please.
So these final maneuvers may well decide the race.
Right now, I believe Ainsley is foiling at 18 knots, and Camas is only going 12. This is by no means over. One more tack for both boats to go.
Well, it might be a photo finish the way things are going at the moment.
It would be appropriate. There's the still foiling.
Okay, tacking.
Can they pull off a foiling tack?
Well, if ever they needed one, they need it right now. Land Rover BAR are in front nominally, but what about this maneuver?
Bow to bow. Starboard tack advantage for Land Rover BAR. They're both displacing. They're both pressed in the water with their leeward hulls, but Ainsley is on starboard. Are either of them laying the finish line right now?
Very hard to tell. The French certainly don't look as if they are. Maybe the British have got just enough of an angle on it.
He'll be hunting them here in this cross if he can get a piece of them on BAR. And there's the dip, here's the dip, and there's the hunt. And you're going to see Ainsley bearing off toward him.
Turning up.
Really nothing to choose between these two, and they are so close to each other. Land Rover BAR just about in front. Have they got enough in the tank to see them over the line? Can they just squeeze through? The French are going to struggle. There is no mistaking that.
Are they going to lay? Are either of them going to lay? It looks like the Brits are going to lay and win this race barely.
Horses, that's a finish.
Just about enough from Land Rover BAR, and they are through.
So that hunting move that he did at the end actually forced Groupama down below the lay line, in essence helped seal the win. Really good match racing tactics by Ainsley coming into that finish and just forcing Groupama and Team France below the lay line and probably cost them the race.